Welcome back, everyone. Hi, my name is Ryan Selvy. This is File New, your weekly source of creator news, designer news, artist news, everything that you need to know to stay up to date with the constantly changing creative world. We've got a lot on the show today. We've got the passing of the artist that restored that Jesus painting a few years back. We have public domain Finanza. Which is a new word, Finanza, which is all the new things that you're going to be able to use in 2026 now that the creative copyright has expired for stuff back in the 1930s. We have the best of CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, which includes some new tablets for drawing from Huan. We also will be looking at our font of the week, which is when you guys vote on the font of the week from some of Adobe Fonts. We're looking at J. Crew's Olympic skiing capsule, which is a new 70s vibe, among some other resources and some great hyperlinks. So make sure you stick around. This is great for both live viewers and replay viewers. So we've got a lot coming into you at the very beginning of 2026, and I'm very excited to have y'all here. So we always like to start off strong with our news for the week, and we've got a lot to catch up on. So thank you guys for being here, and let's hop into the news. All right, so we're going to first start off with some somber news, but also a little bit of fun. And this is, like I said, going to be about Cecilia Gimenez. This reporting comes from Hyperallergic and also some stuff from Wikipedia. But the woman who created a restoration of this Jesus painting back in 2012 has unfortunately passed away at the young age of 94. This is something that I feel like a lot of people knew both the art world and outside of the art world. She got permission from a local priest for this old painting that was painted on a wall in her local church. And she said, I'm going to go and restore this painting for you guys. She then went and she created this famous one afterwards. She then went on vacation for 2 weeks, and the internet kind of blew up with this restoration. It originally was something that she was obviously upset and embarrassed about. She was like, I didn't have the time to then come back. It was drying. I was going to come adjust it. But then as the years went on, first, initially, and I want to pull this from the article here, it says that upon completion, town officials initially suspected the fresco had been vandalized and reportedly considered taking legal action against the artist. But then when they looked into it, they realized that it was something that was actually had permission for, and they had to go from there. The very interesting thing, I know I was looking into this because I was like, do I want to report on this or not? Like, I don't know how this woman felt about it. She ended up saying in 2015, which was 3 years after it happened, she said, everyone here sees what it did in a different light. The restoration has put Borgia on a world map, meaning I've done something for my village that nobody was able to do. They say that more than 130,000 people have then come to see her piece, which then became an art meme, but also like an art inspiration. There was like a whole mural of people who also did similar versions of this same masterpiece. And it also turns out that in 2016, which was a year after, they ended up merchandising it because they said they could then create like mugs and stuff of quote unquote Monkey Christ or Beast Jesus. And the cool thing about it is Cecilia actually got 49% of those profits. So it ended up turning from something that was pretty crazy but a little bit hilarious, but then ended up turning into be something that was really great. And I think that she is proud of where it went after having, like the 13 years or something of being able to experience it. Oliver's in the chat saying, no publicity is bad publicity. Alessandra saying, wow, wild. Clever is saying, that was sad and funny. Happy New Year to everyone in chat that is saying hello over on YouTube. PGR Decky, Base and Pixels, good to see you. Alyssa, Clever, Melanie, Virgil, thanks for hopping on over. Virgil, you changed your icon. Good to see you here. Also, Joshua, thanks for being here. We are hopping through these. All of the links for today's show can be found in our Raindrop, which is a nice link collecting thing that we have. So I'm going to go ahead. I will copy this URL for you guys. I will throw it in also the Discord for you. And then that way, under the File New Discord channel, you'll be able to access all these links. I'll also be sure to include it in the description of the show. But you can see here the Adobe Live server has a lot of different stuff for you where you'll be able to go. And I'll throw this Raindrop in here if you want to check out these links. I can also, if you guys are interested, I never know how you guys feel about it. I can also put the Firefly board in here too. I'm not sure. You tell me and we'll go from there. Next up, I wanted to do some Adobe news. This is coming from the Adobe blog. This is an update to being able to generate some presentations in minutes with Adobe Generate Presentation. So I'm sure a lot of you have had the same experience as me, where you have a design job and you're really excited to work on the actual pitches and the contents. You end up then constantly working on the deck that is designing the design pitch or the design idea, rather than actually working on the project itself. So this was something that was posted right before the holiday break, and was talking about how Adobe has introduced Generate Presentation. Apparently, they say that you can designate up to 20 hours a month with just working on the presentations, and 40% of that time is consumed by formatting issues alone. And this is according to a study about the time an average office worker spends on presentation slides. So Generate Presentation is a new feature available as preview in Adobe Express, Acrobat Studio, and Acrobat AI Assistant, and it's designed to solve a familiar challenge, staring at a blank slide and not knowing where to begin. I think this is a really great tool, especially for designers that want to just get something up and running. You can select a template that is already professionally designed, and then you can fully customize it after that. You can also customize the outline, and then obviously refining and personalize, download, and for use. So if you guys are working on those presentations as you get right back into the new year, this is a really great tool for you. And like I said, it is currently available as a preview in both Express, Acrobat Studio, and Acrobat AI Assistant. So let me know if you guys end up using it, and if you guys have some stuff to work on at the beginning of the year. How is everyone's start to the year going? We are streaming this on January 7th, so we are about a week into the new year. How are you guys doing? Thank you, Oliver, for saying hi to the YouTubes. Also, CV Girl is here, who is Alessandra. Oh, cool. Thank you for hopping over to YouTube, Alessandra. I love seeing people over on YouTube. If you have to pick between YouTube and Behance, I ask for you to please use YouTube. What should we look at next? Apple Vision Pro, guys. We've talked about this in great extension throughout the years, and I think as not a big surprise to many people. They are reportedly cutting their production of Vision Pro headsets after poor sales. This is coming from Matthew Weaver at The Guardian, and it says that apparently they only sold 45,000 units in the last quarter of last year, which is interesting because I actually saw a different article that said they only sold 4,500, which I feel like would be way more devastating. But 45,000, while so far is a little lower, obviously, for something where they're selling millions of iPhones. But that's much, much better than 4,500. But I checked on a few different sites, and The Guardian said 45,000. So I'm going to say 45,000. Apparently, they are expected to release a cheaper version of the Vision Pro later this year, which, if you guys have not caught previous episodes or you're just not familiar, the Vision Pro are the goggles that have a screen on them, and so you can see spatial computing. Spatial computing was the big thing that Apple was going forward with being able to move in a kind of video of the surrounding world, but then you can also highlight different windows all around. As designers, that means having to design for a open world rather than just on your screen. For designers, it is learning a new language of being able to say that like the way that we interact with things isn't just by like tapping on a screen. You could be pushing things forward and backward in space to be able to interact with notifications, interactions, UX and UI. And so it's definitely something that I don't think is going away. I think the product implementation of it is going to be changing. My experience with VR is that it is isolating when you don't have the ability to like see the world around you, and then also the people that are seeing you don't see what you see. So it's a little bit weird. But there is a very big emphasis and move towards glasses rather than goggles. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen a lot of the Meta glasses, which we'll be talking about in a second. But they are also expected to then take the spatial computing and put it into glasses rather than goggles. It says that Mark Zuckerberg also is definitely for Meta leaning towards being able to use AI glasses and other wearables. And Apple has not commented on the reports that it's scaling back its virtual reality headsets, but it is something that is going around the internet a lot this week. Since we're on the topic of display glasses, let's actually hop into the update from Meta this week about Meta glasses. Now, these are glasses where you can see someone's eye and you can see the world around you directly. Oliver is asking if Apple Vision VR or AR, or can it be either? It can't. You can't remember. They always switched it to just not even saying AR or VR. They always ended up saying, like, I don't know if they said XR, which was like extended reality. I think that's what Meta ended up saying. But their big thing was all spatial computing and the idea that it wasn't VR or AR specifically. Yeah. As far as Meta goes, they have these new glasses that are very big. They are taking the internet by storm. They're a lot bulkier and bigger, so obviously when you wear them, they're not going to look like the ones that you already have that are just like regular Ray-Bans. But these actually have a heads-up display that just softly put information in the glass in front of you. And they are $800. They have a camera, they have stereo speakers, 6 microphones, Wi-Fi 6, and finger tracking neural band controller. So you wear this like this wristband that then you can use pinching and different stuff, and it looks at like how you mess with your veins and your tendons or whatever, and then it helps control with that. But they actually said that they're rolling back the international rollout of the display glasses. I guess apparently they're saying that there is an unprecedented demand and limited inventory, so they want to focus on America first, and they want to be able to roll them out in America, although they are saying they're very hard to find because they're not available online and can only be found in limited number of retail outlets, including select Ray-Bans, Sunglass Huts, LensCrafters, and Best Buy locations in the United States. You have to book a appointment for a demo, and then from there, after you have the demo, after you book that off of Meta's website, you then can go and you can buy them. Roxanne's wondering if prescription glass can be put in these. I would hope so, and I think so. I don't know absolutely for sure, but you would have to imagine that wearables like these will have to probably take precedent on people who wear prescriptions rather than people who don't, because you would imagine that people who would be comfortable with wearing things on their face are people that are already wearing things on their face. I mean, look at me. Although mine are itty bitty, and you could never have any sort of like, micro processing in this, at least not in this decade, which I would love to be clipped if that was wrong in the next 10 years, and they'd be like, this idiot in 2026. Obviously, but they're expensive. Yeah, $800, which is still less than I think like the iPhone, so that's kind of crazy. Catherine says my favorite show is on. Thanks, Catherine. Good to see you. And it's good to have you here. I am texting your relative. So sad I missed 14 minutes, but you can always check the replay, which you can always do by navigating back to this link itself. So far we have talked about, just to catch you up, Cecilia Gimenez died, and she was the one who did the restoration of the Jesus painting back in 2012. We looked a little bit at Apple Vision Pro cutting sales, and we also looked at these Meta glasses that are being held back from distribution in Europe because apparently the demand in America is very big. And then also we have these generate presentation feature from Adobe coming out that lets you quickly generate a presentation, and then you can go and edit it and work with other people to then work on a presentation together. What do we want to go into next? I'm excited to talk about this. This might take a little bit of time. So like, why not? Let's get into it quickly because we're already 17 minutes in. Time is flying by. But as you guys know, every single year now, ever since like a year or two ago, it will be constantly moving forward now as things that are now in the public domain that were previously not. For the longest time, it was stuck in like there was this kind of law that was often, accredited to Disney and being able to kind of hold it back because they wanted to protect Mickey Mouse. But about like 2 years ago, it was something that finally kind of lapsed, and now each year the copyright protections are then like moving forward. So as of right now, 1930 is your new year where everything can be hey, Allie's here. Hi, Allie. Every year now moving forward, you get a little bit more copyrighted material, and things that are still kind of in the cultural zeitgeist is then becoming public domain. We have the little engine that could. You probably ended up reading the one that was maybe in the 50s or 60s. So that one is not available yet, but the actual concept and the idea and the story is now available. American Gothic by Grant Wood. That's another one that is now in the public domain. So if you want to put this on a t-shirt and sell it, you totally can. And Carol saying a local legal firm is using some old WD art. Nancy Drew is also going to be in public domain, says Cody. We also have Pluto makes his first appearance in a Disney cartoon in 1930. So this rendition of Pluto is available for public domain. This Rust Red Hills by Georgia O'Keeffe. Betty Boop makes her first appearance, although she looks very different. Look at those cheeks. They're like almost like saggy. They like go all around. But among some other things, Agatha Christie's novel, The Murder at the Vicarage, the original first 4 Nancy Drew mysteries, beginning with The Secret of the Old Clock, Fleischer Studios' Betty Boop, the Blondie comic strip, Animal Crackers, Fiddlin' Around, Just Mickey by Disney is also available. Then the songs I Got Rhythm and Embraceable You are available. The one thing about music is I think sound recordings only go up to 1925, and then everything else goes up to 1930. So I don't think you can take the sound recording of I've Got Rhythm, but I think you can use the actual like sheet music, and if you wanted to record it and make your own, you totally could. There is something interesting. I don't think I actually even put it in the raindrop, but I am thinking about it now, and I think it would be interesting. There is itch.io. It is a website that is kind of focused on indie video games. They have this Gaming Like It's 1930 jam they've been doing the last few years. It's actually the 8th annual jam. And starting January 1st, it's saying that now works from 1930 are free, and you can now remix and create a game jam, both digital and analog. So if you wanted to even make like a board game or something, they have links out to all the different types of Wikipedia. So if you go to just like art, like you can see here that there is a bunch of different pieces. We were just actually talking about Edward Hopper early Sunday morning. This is now available in public domain, which is really cool. And pretty much anything that's on here, any of these famous artworks, is now available in public domain. But the games is they have a game jam, which means that before February 1st. If you create any sort of game, you can submit it, and there's some prizes that you can then get. But it's all, you have to at least use one piece of material from 1930 to be able to kind of create something really exciting and fun. I am not, I want to make a video game. I'm not smart enough to do it in 30 days. But if you are, I mean, I guess a board game you could make in 30 days, but something to just think about. And yeah, I would love to hear if there's anything that you guys are particularly excited about. Thank you again to Barbara Krantzoff and Emma Roth from The Verge for reporting on this, and then also checking out Wikipedia. Mondrian stuff, so you can put this on a chair if you want to. Guess what? You're not breaking any laws. It says, Allison thinks that we'll see a lot of Betty Boops around. Yes, I do feel like we'll see a lot of Betty Boops. So the same way that we saw a lot of kind of Mickeys. But I'm also interested to see, because there's Winnie the Pooh is now, Pluto, Betty Boop. When does Archie come up? I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see. Also, in a comment towards previous Vision Pro and Meta glasses, Wade was saying he wonders how long it will take for this to be adopted or for tech to move on. He says Google Glass launched in 2013. They were actually referencing that in the Guardian article, where they were saying that the goggles still kind of had the Google Glass effect, whereas the Meta glasses are kind of navigating that around. Cody likes seeing all the Winnie the Pooh merch. And also just seeing people's different takes on classic characters that we all grew up with, and all experience different stuff. Let's look at the best of CES. So this is just a link that I did to the Verge article. Here they're doing a live blog, and I grabbed this screenshot actually last night with Andrew Lazuski. CES, if you are not familiar, is the Consumer Electronics Show. It takes place in Las Vegas. It's going on right now. There was a lot of conferences that have already happened, but that kind of like announce stuff, but then they're on the floor and people are still kind of announcing things that are already going on. There are things that are not necessarily related to, being a digital creator, like a climbing vacuum cleaner. But there are some updates about some stuff of like different AI PCs or like chips that are just making stronger, dancing robots, controllers. It's just a fun thing to kind of go through and be inspired. This is what I was talking about. This little robot vacuum goes and climbs upstairs and then like turns itself and goes left and right. I won't spend too much time on it just because I know that's not necessarily artist related. Lego was there for the first time, and they're making Legos with sounds that then like interact to the pieces that you're holding, amongst others. But the thing that I thought you guys would be interested in, because we are creatives here, is there was an announcement from Hawaii. Is that how you say it? Hawaiian, Huion, and it is a new tier of tablets for drawing on, ones that you can connect directly to your computer. This is coming from Ian Dean, and it says that they are bringing the 2.5K and 90 hertz to an affordable tablet. For your reference, a lot of like Wacom tablets are at like 120 hertz. I know hertz is like a weird word for a lot of people that aren't necessarily techie. It basically is kind of refresh rates and how you interact with your screen. Higher hertz is always going to be a little bit more interactive and sharper. The interesting thing here is that a lot of times they like crank the hertz all the way up, and then then it becomes way more expensive. The interesting thing about this Canvas line, it's KAMVAS, is that apparently it is using a lower spec list, but it is finally like good enough that then it's like it's cheaper, but it is exciting. It says that it is this one. They've launched two different ones. They have 21.5 inches, and they have a really strong resolution. It says that it's clean and defined. It says that the clarity is 30% higher than the standard 1080 display, and the real benefit is workflow. Now references color palettes, and the clutter we all drag onto our displays can stay on screen without everything feeling cramped. And that's the promise, at least. You can see that it's nice and thin. It has a magnetic top, or no, is it a magnetic top? Or maybe it's a clip for your pen that you can put on top. and it's nice and skinny. This one, the Pro 27 one, has 144 hertz. It's going to be a lot more expensive, but the Canvas Pro 24 Gen 3 is for ones that are much tinier, and they all fit on this one. And thanks again to Ian Dean at Creative Block for reporting on that. How do you guys feel about these tablets? Do you guys use ones that have screens on them? Do you use ones that don't have screens on them? Do you just use an iPad? Would be interested to hear. And also, would be also interested to hear if this is something that would interest you guys. It doesn't have a price point right now from what I could find, but interesting to see nonetheless. Then let's look at some of Tom's guide here. Apparently, OpenAI might buy Pinterest. This is, I think, probably also pretty big for designers. You might ask, like, why are they doing that? According to Amanda Caswell at Tom's Guide, says that it would get a massive visual data set. They would get monetized search. They would get commerce infrastructure. It says that the end game becomes not that AI doesn't just answer, it also sells. And it'll be interesting to see. I know that some people actually left Pinterest because of AI. I know that like Cosmos is also an alternative that people are using, but also then you have things where you can reiterate or iterate off of or mess with, and Pinterest tends to has really good like taste profiling. So that's all kind of rumored right now. I haven't checked to see if they bought it yet today or not, but that is something that is. As far as tablets go, to hop right back to that real quick, we're seeing that Allison says that she really wants a tablet for drawing, but haven't thought beyond an iPad, which is, yeah, that's fair. And then also Oliver likes one of the ones with the screens, though. He says he has a non-screen tablet with the laptop and an iPad. That's what I had for the longest time. And I still have my Cintiq from like the early 2010s, but I could probably do for an update. It's my birthday on on Saturday. So if you guys want to buy me a tablet, sure, send it my way. Ellis is also reminding everyone to please make sure you like this video on YouTube. Appreciate that. Maybe even share with a creator in your life. That's my hype girl. Thank you so much. Hopping back over to TechCrunch. Something about social media follower counts have never mattered less, according to the creative economy execs. Coming from Amanda Silverling, who we tend to use her articles all the time because she's such a great reporter. But a study commissioned from the Northwestern University found that trust in creators increased 21% year over year, just because there's so much slop online now. And basically they're saying, if you asked me at the beginning of 2025, hey, is trust in creators going to go up or down? I would have probably said down. But because people understand it's an industry, they understand how it's working, and said actually AI pushed people to kind of rotate trust to real humans that they know have real life experiences. Consumers are more likely to go out of their way to see content from creators they know and trust. So according to the study, 97% of chief marketing officers intend to grow influencer marketing budgets in the new year. So how do you navigate that as a creator? You need to create direct streams of communication. So that might not be relying on just assuming that Instagram or TikTok is going to show things to people that follow you. I think that means maybe starting something like a Patreon, or maybe starting something like an email newsletter, finding ways to be able to have direct communication with people so that you can know that they can then get it. I know I get a lot of my information through newsletters as well, and being able to have that. Obviously, also, newsletters have to also face the idea of being put into spam folder, because that's also hard to navigate, and being able to do that. I have read that there are ways to optimize some of that to make sure you don't end up in newsletters, like bins. I mean, so you don't end up in spam folders. Things like getting people's first names in there so that it is clearly addressed to them. Also, being able to have people interact with a link at some point to then be able to tell their inbox that it is something that they're interested in seeing, so it pushes it towards their inbox, among other things. But Allison says, I wish there was a separate newsletter folder in my email. Yes, I know. Gmail automatically separates things into like updates and spam and products and stuff, but I wish there was one that I could say that could just be newsletters. Bree is saying CES has so many cool things, and she worked it last year, which is a life goal of mine. If anyone can ever get me to go to Vegas and be able to go to CES, I would jump at the opportunity. Would be happy to stream for File New or anything in between, just because I think it'd be so cool. The last piece of news that we have is kind of going off of this idea of social media and also off of AI. This is coming from the head of Instagram. He's saying, looking forward to 2026, one significant interesting thing is that authenticity is becoming infinitely reproducible. It's saying authenticity after abundance. The key risk that a platform like Instagram faces is that as the world is inevitably changes more and more quickly, the platform fails to keep up. It says, looking forward to 2026, one new significant shift is that authenticity is becoming infinitely reproducible. This is actually a full kind of post that you can then expand. I did link to it in the raindrop for you guys. You can see here if you hop in and then you click it. It is quite long. So if you want to give it a little bit of a read, it is interesting. It's talking about the importance of creators and authenticity and being able to not have everything be so polished, having things feel more authentic in the same way that we were just talking about a second ago in the idea of people trusting creators. It's also another thing kind of mentioned in here is the idea of recreation and being reposted, having things being pulled from different places, having people also clip things. So make sure you clip me, send it to your friends. But this is something that then that in itself needs to have its own branding so that then when it gets reproduced and sent around and you get more impressions, it still is clear that it's going back to you and back to your ownership. So something interesting to see. That's all the news that we have for our news section. Before we hop over into Font of the Week, I just want to take a quick second to look at the schedule for Adobe Live. We are here on January 7th, right here for File New. Next up after this, we're actually going to be hopping over to Twitch with Cinema Collective, CA in LA, also known as Courtney Burke and Ashley Kofelt. They will be over on the Adobe Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Adobe. They'll be going over Cinema Collective, which is their film-based editing piece of streaming that happens every Wednesday at 11 a.m. PT or 2 o'clock p.m. ET. Tomorrow is a full Adobe streaming day. It's not in studio, but it is just a full Adobe streaming day. We've got stuff like George Rodriguez, who is actually creating the design stuff for the Olympics, which is really cool. Not the entire thing, but he is a part of it. So he's doing some sports design, which is really neat because he's such a professional. We also have some Lightroom culling and Firefly boards with Rosie Hardy, animated alerts with Pixie Pew. We have Making Decisions, which is coming back, which is very exciting. On the Spot will also be here with Mike DL. And then on Friday, there is a TikTok stream. And then there is also Creating Your 2026 Starter Pack with Martha and Shell, and that's from the EDU team. So make sure you check it out. We are 35 minutes in, and I know we are cramped for time. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to jump into our Font of the Week. All right, folks, Font of the Week. It is the time where we always like to bring up 3 different typefaces that you can get to on the Adobe Fonts subscription, which is included in your subscription. And then we have you guys vote on which one you think is the best. We do keep a inventory of it. So if you want to then be able to look at previous winners, you can always do that as well. I am trying to YouTube changed their UI on the back end of streaming, and it has been a little bit of a headache for me. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to make sure that, I can create a poll for you guys. And we're going to have you guys vote over here on YouTube. So if you're on Behance, make sure you hop over to YouTube. And so the ones that we have up is Jack, Megumi, and Kamba. All 3 besides, well, no, actually just, I know how to say Jack, but Megumi and Kamba, I'm not sure if those are the proper pronunciations of said things. But we're going to put them up to be able to vote on. And I will then also be showing you guys how they look. So let's real quick. Megumi and Kamba, right? And if I spelled any of them wrong on the poll, you guys can just understand what we're working on. Let's first look at Jack. This is a very bold, very heavy typeface. It's coming from Black Foundry. And boy, oh boy, is it a heavy boy. It says, it is a typeface born from the tavern. The creative and experimental wavy tool crafted by Gaten Bear. With its roots in brutalist design, Jack embodies a strikingly bold, robust, and modern aesthetic. Its simplified forms strip away unnecessary details, creating a raw yet refined structure that commands attention. Jack's unapologetic weight and clarity give it a powerful, expressive voice, perfect for making strong, assertive statements. It is designed exclusively in capitals, allowing for optimized wave effects with the Tavern tool. To further enhance its creative possibilities, the font includes a width variation axis and 4 corner axes, top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right, that enable precise control over each letter's shape. These features make it possible to craft unexpected and visually striking effects, whether for posters, branding, or editorial design. Jack delivers unmatched visibility and a defiant energy that demands to be noticed. Make a statement with Jack, where brutalist simplicity meets expressive modernity. You can see here in an example of being able to move the sides here, you can see that you can create this really cool wave effect of the full letter form here. It really works well when you kind of wave it out or are able to then kind of warp it. But it does have some pretty cool effects. And then you're able to mess with it. We're going to go ahead and pull it up in Photoshop right here. And we are going to show you what it looks like when we write File New. You can go and you see that with the drop down, it's just regular. But you might be able to go over to glyphs here. And here is where you'll be able to see a bunch of the different adjustments here. You're able to use some numbers here. They've got a little bit of symbols amongst others. You also have a little bit of punctuation at the end. I don't think you can do your math homework. We always talk about that to see if there's division symbols. There's not equals. Is that the ampersand? That's kind of crazy. But looking at these, oh, they even have a little flower for whatever reason. So we're going to look here, and we're going to bring this down. And it has really cool cutscenes and stuff. It's all capitals, so it is very easy and kind of straightforward. Tavern tool, have I missed something? You know, I'm not sure. That was off of their website, so I don't know what the Tavern tool is. That might be built into something that their studio creates. Roxanne says, is it me or is it difficult to read? I definitely think that it is not for any words that are difficult to understand. Like if I wrote Ryan, you'd be able to read Ryan. But if I wrote something like, oh, this is going to be funny. Am I going to be able to spell this? If I was dyslexic. I guess that's actually kind of, the S is a little hard to read, right? But like type, that works well. Let's write out Roxanne. Yeah, see, your XAN is kind of hard because they all kind of look similar there. To which maybe you would want to adjust it a little bit or something. Something to keep in mind for accessibility. Then after that, we're going to then look at our next one, which is Madami, right? Madumi? Not Madami. Madumi? Is it Madumi? Megumi. It's not Madami. Ignore me. I'm in New York. Oliver says, man, it looks like a body font to me. Bold. I'd love to see that design. Oliver. So this is designed by Dave Rowland. We've done a lot of Dave Rowland type. I tend to like this foundry a lot. It says it's a headline serif design commissioned by a fashion and lifestyle magazine with a heavy Japanese influence. It never happened. The uppercase letters are narrow and have almost monospace aesthetics, being influenced by Romaji letter forms. The serif is sculptural, and the italic is sinuous. Graphic designers will use it editorially, but it will also look sumptuous on museum displays and posters, couture labels and perfumes, and even postmodern book covers and title pages. Always interesting and funny to see like the passive aggressive, like this was commissioned and it was never used, which is really good to see. Like, good luck everybody. But this is interesting. It is very thin. It is a very, very thin typeface. I will say that. It comes in, we have ultralight, and ultralight italic. I did not see when I was activating it anything heavier than that, I don't believe. But let me just triple check before I poorly report. Yes. So we just have these two right here. You can see that it feels very fancy, but I feel very elegant. Yes, I agree, Roxanne. But I think that you're going to have to also, you're also going to have to definitely like put it at a large scale so that you can see it, right? Because it goes away way too fast. Allie is saying it's too thin. It's giving Ozempic. I'm not going to spell it all the way out because that's a copyright, isn't it? Ryan Selvy turns 33 on Saturday. Have I said that enough, guys? I love my birthday, but I also hate the day that it's on because it's too close to the holidays, and I always complain about it. But we like to make the best of it. We're going to look at our glyphs here. All also very thin, as to be expected. You can see they have division symbols, so you can use this for your math homework. And you also have a few other nice things here. I really like the C, though. I like the design of the G. I like the design of things. I just wish they were a little bit thicker. And maybe if you buy the font, I'm not sure. It might be available on their Foundry page. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just all very, very thin. You guys will have to check. I turned 33 on Saturday. Oh my gosh, how did you know? Yeah, I didn't realize. Catherine saying skinny. Winter's saying not like Ozempic and laughing out. Wade is saying the January birthday hype. Yeah, I know you get me. I know you see me. Last but not least, because it is still a contender, we have Comba. Maybe the C is an S sound. Maybe it's Samba. Oh, that'd be kind of fun, right? This one is really goofy. This one is a bunch of letter forms that have these like really weird squiggles and shapes in them. You can see if we go back to the news board, they're really good, fun, organic activations of them. Like it feels very trustworthy. It feels like a health brand. It feels they have, hand-picked. They also have it like over top of these. It says it is a quirky all caps display font that is perfect for grabbing attention from afar. It has just enough eye-catching letters to pull the reader in and make them smile, and it's summer, playful, and lighthearted. I don't think it has to be unique to summer. I can definitely see the summer vibes to it, but I could also see this even being spring. You could even do this for a Valentine's Day thing, which we will definitely explore. Thank you for the early birthday wishes, Oliver. Appreciate you. Carol says this font would be fun with Wobble and Express. I agree. Cody says that she needs it on a vacation ad. I could also see it on a sunscreen ad. Like if we say something like SPF 100. That's funny. Because you know me, I need my SPF 100, SPF 50. What happens if we write Cody Bear? That's fun. I mean, look at that R. The R is really fun. Oh, Ryan Selvy looks great. See? And you can quote me on that. And I think it just looks nice. So these are our three options. We'll crown a winner at the end. We have about 10 minutes left of the show, so I'll keep the poll open for the rest of the show. If anybody needs me to pull them back up, let me know. But we will crown a winner before the end, so make sure you cast your vote. The winner will also go onto the raindrop. There is a whole section of Font of the Week winners. The losers still stay in their section where you can always see they have the hashtag of Font of the Week. We've got, what do we got? 6 more things to get through. We got like 9 minutes left, so who wants to do the math? That's like a little bit over a minute for each. I want to go and quickly look at rebranding. In our rebrand section, we always like to go over things that have updated branding. Since the beginning of the year, there hasn't been too much stuff. There's some reports on things. This is coming from Fast Company, and this is a report about the Kia logo, because if you guys remember the Kia logo way back from 5 years ago now, because it's now 2026, and this came out in 2021, it says, it turns out that Kia's new logo wasn't brand suicide after all. After a dramatic rebrand 5 years ago, the South Korean automaker is selling more cars than ever. And I need to find out who the author of this was, because I thought I had that in the screenshot, but I guess not. We might run out of time, but I feel like this is important, so let's see. It's by Hunter Schwartz. So thank you, Hunter, for reporting on this. Says 5 years ago this month, Kia took what seemed to be, at the time, a sledgehammer to its brand in the form of an inscrutable new logo. A lot of people then also searched for KN. But since then, Kia America has announced a 7% sale increase in 2025 after selling a record almost a million units in the U.S. last year. Its third consecutive annual sales record for the South Korean automaker U.S. division, and the feat was driven by strong sales growth for vehicles like its K4 sedan and its Sportage and Telluride SUVs. This isn't me just shilling an auto brand. The thing that I think is really interesting about this is that they want to position themselves a little bit closer to a bunch of the other electronic cars that were, electric cars that were coming out, and they wanted to reposition their idea as a car company, and it worked. And while the logo is still a little bit controversial, it has then stuck and is something that worked out. Can't say the same about Jaguar. Jaguar, I went to their website and they still have the old logo like over a year later up here in the corner with their old stuff. But then if you go to the top, it then brings you to Jaguar USA, which then will have their new logo and stuff, but has not fit as well as maybe the Kia did. Catherine is saying that she loves the rebrand section. Okay, cool. Well, then I'm really excited to also show you this one. This is the second one that we have, and this is J. Crew. They announced a skiing capsule that gives sportswear a 70s vibe shift. Creative director Olympia Gayot on the inspiration for the new collection, Olympic archives and vintage design details and winter gear with panache. So you can see it's very 70s inspired. They say that the typeface that they use, you can see here for US ski and snowboard, calls back to similar styles used in vintage ski apparel and destinations, including the Sugarloaf Ski Resort in Maine. It once had a groovy word mark with near identical look. You can also see that a lot of the pieces have a little skier with these long stripes across it. That's because when they were working on this, they were studying a bunch of archival imagery of both ski apparel and Olympic Games past. They say, we spent a lot of time immersed in the archives, both of our own and U.S. ski and snowboards. Jay Cruz, creative director of Women's and Children's Design, said, we traveled to their headquarters and poured through historic imagery of the team in past Olympic moments, everything from old uniforms and outerwear to pins, patches, and ephemera that captured the spirit of different eras to the sport. Details like the collection's recurring red, white, and blue stripes and U.S. skiing shield patch have a clear tie to vintage Olympic patches, which often featured the same color scheme and motif, typically alongside imagery like a torch, the Olympic rings, and for skiing events, an illustration of an athlete descending the slopes. So you can see they all feel very retro-inspired, big shapes, big retro field. If anything, I thought the nostalgic thing would be done 10 years ago. We just continue to go and go and go. Cody's saying that the J. Crew rebrand is really nice, but does not like the Jaguar rebrand. Clever actually found a way to make the Kia logo with just letter forms by flipping that N. Then Allie's wondering if I'm going to rebrand for 33. Of course I am. I just think this is really strong. I also love how they really went into how they actually designed it. As designers, it's always really fun to see and hear the process behind stuff. I would love to see some of the things that they pulled from. And I like that they actually talked about the Sugarloaf Ski Resort. From a quick search, I couldn't find it, but I will look into that. And if I find it, I'll put it on the Discord. And then we're going to look at a section called resources. where I can show you guys things that can help your workflow. WikiFlix. This is fun. This actually goes along with the idea of kind of public domain. Things that are created after 1930 can still be in public domain if they go through certain things. So just because it was made after 1930 doesn't mean that it isn't public domain. But that's just like a rule that you can be like 1930 and before is good to go. Anything after. Mike Mixtape says, I found your new place, WikiFlix. Imagine if the Criterion Channel and Netflix had a baby, and the baby only streamed public domain classics, and it was completely free. That's WikiFlix. It's a clean, modern interface where you can scroll, search, and dive into a whole catalog of classic films, restored gems, and silent era legends, and old school cinema history, all legally available because they're in the public domain. No subscription, no account, no ads, just movies. And so that's wikiflix.toolforge.org. It is linked, as you know, in the channel here on a raindrop. It's got stuff like A Trip to the Moon, which I would definitely suggest watching A Trip to the Moon if you've never before. They actually like painstakingly colored each one of that to make it color. I don't know if this one will have the color of it. Metropolis is also a very famous movie that you should check out. They got some Charlie Chaplin, amongst others that you can definitely check out. They even have something from Big Buck Bunny 2008. I think that was from VLC. I think they made those. Night of the Living Dead. You can remix these, you can incorporate them, or you can just enjoy them. They've got different categories from female directors, science fiction, you name it. They break things down. They also have YouTube videos and stuff that are also available. So it's a nice, cool resource. I think I labeled it as a hyperlink, but I think it's also a resource. This is a nice, simple. It is what it is. It's easily said. This is the Motion Folios. You can get to here from motionfolios.com. It is, the motion design portfolios. This is a really great way to be able to hop in and check out different people's work. I believe it is constantly updated. Oh, Matt. We've had Matt on Adobe Live before. Love this guy. Super inspiring. He's actually, I think, even spoken at Adobe Max before, and has really good taste, really good style. I don't know if Stephen Ong is on here, but Stephen Ong is my favorite. And yeah, you should check that out. Big Buck Bunny was done by Blender Studio. I am corrected. Sorry, my bad. Oliver's saying they have a lot. Then we have, we have like 1 minute left. Some creative prompts for the new year. No, I'm not talking about AI prompts. I'm talking about just like prompts that you can get inspired with. This is coming from Tom May at Creative Boom. Some warm-ups if you're feeling foggy, like draw 20 circles without lifting your pen. This might sound silly, but the repetition is soothing, and you'll notice your line quality improving by circle 15. It says draw your left hand with your right hand or vice versa. Make a mark, rotate the page, make another mark, repeat this 10 times, see what accidental compositions merge when you're not trying to control everything. Or if you want to be a little bit more intentional about what you're doing, you can redesign a household object to be impractical. You can create a pattern from the ugliest color combination you can think of. You can design packaging for a product that doesn't exist. So these are just a few of the ones that they have. There are 30 different creative prompts. Like I said, it's from Tom May, and it's just a good way to be able to get back into it, especially if you're feeling burnout already, or if you're just like finding a hard way to get back into stuff. And then the very last thing that we have is also some animation stuff, and this is the animated icons from It's Hover. This is React icon, so if you're working on a web page or design, you can go here and you can use any of these. They're in a pack that you can then use, and it is React ability, and you can implement any of these into yours. If you click it, it'll give you the different codes for it, and they're just ways to be able to create things that are more interactive with motion design. So we're just at about time. If we lose Behance people, that's why you should watch it on YouTube. But right after this, we will be going over to Twitch. But I am going to just take 1 more minute, and we're going to go back to Font of the Week to be able to crown our winner. So if you have not voted yet, please vote, please vote, please vote. And I'm going to go on and pull it up, and we're going to see what it looks like. It looks like we do have a clear winner, so I'm going to actually just end the poll now. And with, drum roll please, 50%, 50% of the vote, our winner for this week is actually Jack. And if only if Jack Watson was here today, we could say, hey, Jack, this one's for you. You're the winner. So big shout out to Black Foundry. As I was saying before, this will then go straight over into our Font of the Week winners, where you can access all of them. I'm going to go ahead and put that in both chats for you. I'll also go ahead and I will put that in the File New Discord channel here for you, which is all on the Adobe Live server. You can always check the schedules as well here. Like I said, coming up next, we have the Cinema Collective. That's right on the schedule page. And you can get to that by going to twitch.tv/Adobe. Just want to say thank you guys for all being here. We will be back again next week, same time, same place. And should be a good old time. Make sure you stay tuned here on Adobe Live. And yeah, make sure you guys hop over to Twitch. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you for tuning in. Share this with a friend. Clip it. Give it a big thumbs up if you can for me. And I will be streaming tomorrow as well, personally. Not File New, but I will be live tomorrow. So make sure you follow me, Ryan Selvy. And that is going to be a great time. So thank you again. Alice, this was so fun. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys all over in the Twitch chat in just a second. Thanks again. Have a great week. Bye.